What's up, guys? Dan Canobbio alongside a former world champion Chris Algieri, and today we're inside Church Street Gym to break down a big one, Cinco de Mayo weekend, Canelo versus Munguia, and you can watch it live on ppv.com. Chris, for Canelo, everyone wants him to fight this guy, they want him to fight that guy, but he's stepping in the ring with Jaime Munguia, his first Mexican opponent since Julio Cesar Chavez. I like this fight. I think it's going to be an all-action type of fight. Canelo is the type of fighter that comes forward, kind of downloads the data, and I think we know about Munguia. This guy just throws punches and bunches, combinations. Going to be a fun one, I think.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, listen, I have to preface with this. Canelo should be fighting David Benavidez. He is the most deserving guy in the world today. He's the best guy in the division other than Canelo himself. So, but that notwithstanding,
disclaimer:
this is a good fight. It's a fun fight. Munguia, like you said, he's a fan-friendly guy. He brings it. This is a huge opportunity for him. This seems like what really his whole career has been building up to, is this actual moment right here. So it's a great fight. And listen, the Mexican thing, that wouldn't be a big deal if Canelo said he wasn't going to fight any Mexicans. But now that he is, it's another talking point for us. But all in all, it's a fun fight, and we're looking forward to watching this one.
Yeah, there was a lot of hoopla about where Canelo would fight, what network, who would he be fighting. That's the type of thing you do when you're Canelo Alvarez and you're the A side in this fight. But they do have a common opponent in John Ryder.
Yes.
Munguia took out John Ryder, retired him. Canelo, I wouldn't say struggled with him, but he went the distance, and Ryder towards the end was going punch for Canelo.
Yeah, that was, I think that was a smart move on the behalf of Munguia's team, was using Ryder as a measuring stick. It's like, all right, well, you did this to him, we did this to him. Let's make this fight happen. Hey, it worked.
Yeah, Munguia's been waiting his whole career for this moment, so let's jump into the ring. We're going to go through their strengths, their weaknesses, the matchup, everything. This is in the ring breakdown.
Canelo Alvarez. Jaime Munguia.
Canelo-Munguia, Saturday, May 4th. Streaming live on ppv.com. Order now.
Let's talk a little Canelo Alvarez and what he does well in there. Man, this guy was going on 10 plus years in the pro game, probably even more. I mean, at this point, you kind of know what you're getting from Canelo. Low output, game-changing power, kind of walks that tightrope in there, hammers to the body. What are Canelo's strengths?
Solid defense, too. He's a counterpuncher, but he's a power counterpuncher. You mentioned the game-changing power. He breaks guys down, he walks guys down, he puts a lot of pressure on them. Very hard to hit, too. He's very slippery. He makes you miss and makes you pay for it immediately. And that's a lot of times where he gets his knockouts from. Making you miss, making you reach, overexposing you, and then hitting you with a big power shot. He's also a good body puncher, obviously. He's Mexican. Throws great left hooks to the liver. These guys match up in a very interesting way. But Canelo has a pretty quick jab too that I think is a little underrated. He uses it well from the outside to walk guys down, and then when they're coming at him, he can use it as a rangefinder, so he can find his timing for those counters, like I said.
You know, he's always been a low volume type of guy, throws somewhere between 35 and 40 punches, but against Charlo in his last fight, I think he really slowed it down, and he was really loading up in that fight. That's because Charlo was kind of a stationary target in there. I don't expect Munguia to do that in there, but what are you seeing from Canelo at this stage? And he's up there in his 30s. You know, I wouldn't say he's on the back nine, but he's certainly approaching it. What are you seeing from Canelo, like output-wise, and how is he kind of dealing with getting up there in age?
Well, I mean, he's definitely over the hill to say. Not to say that he's bad, but he's not the same guy he was, and I think anyone who's really been watching him over the years can tell that. And not as explosive, not as busy as you said. He was never really a busy guy to begin with, but also we're not seeing those knockouts like we used to. He's going the distance with guys, we saw that in John Ryder. He's getting the shots in there. He's getting hit a little bit more. His defenses, his reflexes are a little hindered now. He's a very durable guy. He's got a great chin. He's got one of the best chins in boxing, actually, Canelo does. So we haven't really seen it, but we're seeing him get marked up more, which means he's getting touched up. So yeah, I think the biggest difference in recent years has been, one, the output, and two, the fact that his reactions aren't quite the same.
He is getting marked up more in fights. That's interesting because Jaime Munguia, we're going to get to him in a second. That guy throws a ton of combination. But let's get into a little bit of what Canelo does great in there. What's his bread and butter?
like I said, he's a counterpuncher. So a lot of times he likes to look for openings. He'll let you work, and his defense is very sharp. He rolls, he slides, he'll allow you to come forward and kind of bait you, and then he comes and he rips those shots, and he especially like getting down to that left hook to the body. But he's got a good jab too. It's a power jab. He'll throw from this side position here. He'll fire that shot, and then he's looking boom, to dig down low and get here. And he's got a pretty nice counter right hand too. He's a little pull over the top. But with Canelo, a lot of times it's mostly letting you work. Like you said, he's not a big output guy. Counter punchers generally are. Knockout punchers usually don't throw a lot of punches either. So Canelo is the power counter puncher.
How about one thing we talked about Canelo in his last fight, and we demonstrated inside of the ring, was how you don't know if he's throwing to the body or he's throwing upstairs, which I found, now that I got into the ring and you were mimicking Canelo, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
If you're on the other side of that, not knowing if it's going to come downstairs, his patented body shot, or he's coming up.
His ability to change trajectory of the punch, where it's going to land, is really difficult to see. It's hard to have radar to see because he'll dip. He'll dip out to that side, and it looks like he'll be looking at the rib, like he's going for the rib, and he's probably touched it up already, and then he rips that shot right upstairs. He's in an angle where he's able to lead down low. It looks like it's coming low, but it comes high, comes over, boom. You know, he'll put out this hand to throw this and come up.
Right
I love
there.
that shot. He'll boom, bang, comes up with that up shot. He has a very fluid left shoulder, and the way he's able to release those punches is very variable and hard to figure out which one's coming at you.
One of the most prolific combination punchers in boxing today is Jaime Munguia. I don't want to talk about his defensive deficiencies. I want to talk about what he does great, and that is throw punches and bunches, fan-friendly type of style. He's going to have to do that against Canelo on May 4th.
The guy is allergic to bad fights. He's always fun. He never throws one punch at a time. He throws combinations in bunches. I mean, punches and bunches all the time. It's very difficult to deal with. He's a volume puncher. He lets those hands go. He breaks guys down. He knocks you out. He's got good power. He actually showed really good power in the John Ryder fight. He was a lot more judicial with his punches, which actually I like the Freddie Roach marriage with Munguia. Freddie is an offensive coach. I don't want anybody to change Munguia's style, make him a defensive fighter. I don't think it can happen at this stage. So just make his offense that much better, so his offense can beat his defense, and that's what Freddie's best at when it comes to working with guys. But with Munguia, like you said, he throws tons of punches. He usually does lead with the jab, but again, never single, and then he bow and arrows his right hand, and he throws boom, and he comes over the top, and then he comes with the hook, boom.
Cartoon.
Exactly. He literally he throws the jab, and this hand comes and he goes over, and then he digs, and it's a lot of left hands. He's got a very educated left hand. He really wants to put that left hand out there. And there are times even really he'll just kind of paw with his right. He'll put it out there just so he can rip that left hook over the top or down low. Vicious body puncher. Really likes to get down to the body. Again, another Mexican puncher. So a lot of times he'll be throwing so many punches upstairs, you're dealing with the volume, the next thing you know, boom, you get hit with that liver shot, like Derevyanchenko.
Yeah, a lot of times when you talk about Jaime Munguia, where everyone's like, oh, he's not a defensive fighter, man. He's just gonna get pieced up in there. Does it feel like his output, throwing 60, 70 punches around kind of plays into his defense?
Absolutely. I mean, for one, especially in this fight, youthful exuberance. He's much younger than Canelo. He's fresher. And I think he puts a lot of pressure on guys. He's just overwhelming, smothering fighter, and he has enough power to get your respect. So a lot of times guys will be covering up, dealing with the power, trying not to get hit with something big, and that's where he just runs away with it. Another thing that Jaime Munguia does really well, the lost art of cutting off the ring. We're seeing so many guys recently just follow guys around the ring, and that's why they're allowing their opponents to live. We're not seeing those knockouts. Jaime Munguia gets knockouts, and a lot of that is because of that pressure that he puts on. He's able to cut off the ring, make the ring smaller and smaller and smaller. So you got a guy who's throwing a ton of punches at you. He's a volume puncher. He's got good power, and he's making the ring small. So he's constantly working. He's throwing this, especially left, and guys start to move away. He steps with them. That's what cutting off the ring is. He steps sideways. You take a lateral movement, and eventually you're going to come together. So if Dan here or Munguia's opponent is circling this way trying to get away, I step with him, I'm with him, step for step, like his shadow, so I can just keep letting loose with those combinations the way Munguia does.
Who's going to be leading in this fight? I mean, I feel like Canelo likes to bring the fight down to a crawl. Obviously, Munguia is going to throw a ton of punches. Who's going to be leading that dance?
I could see initially very, very low output from Canelo. I think he's going to be collecting data, analyzing, seeing where the openings are in the offense of Munguia. I think Munguia would be smart not to throw everything at him right away. I think he should pick his spots, slow the pace down a little bit as well, and then build up as the fight goes on.
Can he do that, though? This is a very excitable fighter. Let's get into the X's and O's. Let's get into how we can see this fight potentially playing out. Now, we talked about Canelo, 35 to 40 punches per round. He walks that tight tightrope. He waits for that moment. We see him late with the game-changing power. Not so much lately with those late knockouts. So I could see Canelo coming out quiet or coming out slow in this fight, and Munguia maybe stealing 3 of the 4 or 5 first rounds.
Yeah, I can see that. I think he's going to come out with the jab. I think Canelo's going to come out. He's trying to establish the jab. That's one thing Jaime Munguia does not do. He's not throws especially single jabs. He throws combinations. So I think Canelo's going to use the jab to disrupt Munguia's rhythm, break up those combination punches. And I think at times, Canelo's actually going to invite Munguia to the ropes. I could see Canelo, because Canelo's a pretty decent counterpuncher, pretty good counterpuncher off the ropes. He'll pull Munguia, but he could be here and rolling tight, boom, and then come with those shots. And there's going to be openings because of how busy the hands are of Munguia. The more your hands are out punching, the more holes there are in your defense. So there's gonna be opportunities for Canelo to counter with the right hand, look for those left hooks, and trade left hooks. That's one of the places where Munguia has trouble, is trading punches. He's been hit many times. When you're hooking, you don't wanna hook with a hooker. Listen, both these guys have good left hooks, but there's gonna be opportunities for Canelo to be looking, sliding, slipping, and bang, come with that left hook, especially as Munguia is trying to land his.
You know what's interesting about that too for Canelo is he's getting up there in age, getting a little bit older. He needs to find a few moments in a 3-minute round to kind of rest.
Van Holyfield did that great.
Right, and Canelo now is starting to do that as he gets into his mid-30s, and he can do that up against the ropes where it seems like he's really comfortable, and he can also score on the ropes.
But that runs out, especially with a young guy, and that's where Munguia, I think, if you're backing Munguia, you're going on the youthful exuberance. You're going on the fact that he's going to put a ton of pressure. You're going on the fact that Canelo output is going down. You know, and Munguia is durable. He comes forward. He's got a great gas tank. He finishes fight strong. So there's a lot of opportunities for the Munguia fans to get excited about this one.
Let's go back to some of Canelo's fights where he has issues. The Golovkin gave him issues because he stuck a jab in front of his face, and he throws 70 punches around, and he's also very, very powerful. Bivol.
Good defense too. Very good defense.
Of course. Bivol gave Canelo issues because he was in and out with the jab, bouncing on the balls of his feet, throwing power shots when he needed to. Is Munguia that type of fighter? Can Munguia stick a jab in his face the whole time? Can he really disrupt Canelo? Because those are the two clearest cases, Golovkin and Bivol, that gave Canelo issues.
Canelo has trouble with guys who are volume punchers if they're also defensively sound. Munguia's not. He's going to be in there. His offense is his defense. There are holes in his offense and while he's throwing, so Canelo's going to have ample opportunities to let those punches go. The real question is he going to be able to get the respect of Munguia? He does hit hard, but Munguia is big and young. Curious to see how those early shots landed by Canelo affect Munguia.
Yeah.
If Munguia starts walking through them, it's gonna be a long night.
That's right. I could see that. I can see the first 2 or 3 rounds Canelo loading up, doing those big shots that he did against Charlo. Then I could see Munguia's motor heating up. Then I could see around the 5th or 6th round, we get ourselves into an all Mexican brawl. That's how I mean, if I had a script and I was going to script this fight out, that's how I would do it.
I think Canelo is going to be smart and very judicious with his power punches. He's going to pick and choose his spots. He's going to be throwing punches like they cost him money. And I see him finding holes. I think he hits hard enough still that he's going to be able to get Munguia's respect. I don't think we're going to get that much volume from Munguia. I think he's going to be worried about what's
he's
coming.
going to lower down.
Yes,
I see that a lot too.
I think the fight is going to be a slower pace than people expect. There's going to be opportunities for Munguia to get off, but I just see Canelo's power and sharp counterpunching ability stemming that pretty early.
All right, it's time for your favorite segment at home, Chris's favorite segment, CA's categories. Let's go through them. Munguia and Canelo. We'll start with power.
Canelo. Canelo's a better puncher, single punch guy. I don't think Munguia is a one punch guy. He breaks you down. He's heavy handed. He hits well with both hands, especially the left hook. But I got Canelo. I think he's sharper and hits harder.
I think too, Canelo's sitting down more on his punches.
Lately, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right,
We don't throw that much. Yeah, you have more energy for power.
Let's go to the speed category. Munguia?
Canelo.
Really?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. He doesn't throw a lot of punches. He is very quick. He's explosive. He's a very explosive guy.
You don't think of speed when you think of Canelo?
You don't. But if you really watch him, he is actually very quick and he's explosive. And with Munguia, because he throws so many punches, he tends to tire and slow down at spurts. He's got great conditioning where he recovers, but in the middle of those combinations, the hand speed goes down.
All right, we're gonna go over to ring IQ. Canelo's been into the game for a long, long time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Canelo is the man on that portion. Ring IQ, experience, opposition, everything.
Do you think though Munguia is improving now that he's with Freddie Roach, and I feel like he's been like a different type of fighter. Like he's never gonna be defensively sound, but I feel like he's improving on the things that he's really good at.
John Ryder makes everybody look bad, and even the fights that he was robbed. He won a lot of those fights that he lost. The Canelo fight, like, yeah, he was dominated, but he was in that fight very much. Jaime Munguia completely outshined him, outclassed him, outskilled him. That was one of the best performances I've seen from Jaime Munguia, and not just in terms of what the outcome was, but how we got there.
All right, chin and defense, we're putting it in the same category.
Canelo again, man. He's got one of the best chins in the game, and his defense is sharp. We mentioned that early on. Again, this fight's not going to come down to necessarily the X's and O's, and that I think has a lot to do with just age. And you got the old guy on the block, and you got the young lion coming.
Love that. Do we think we're gonna see vintage Canelo in this fight? Do you think this is the fight tailor-made to make Canelo look good, or could we see him kind of falter for the first time, fighting a Mexican in many years, fighting a guy that throws a ton of punches?
I would love to say we're gonna get a vintage Canelo performance, but I don't see it. I think he's gonna struggle at times. I think he's becoming more and more human, and it's not gonna get better. And when you got a guy like Munguia who's gonna push that pace and have that motor, you know, it's gonna be an interesting fight.
May 4th, it's going down T-Mobile Arena. Canelo Alvarez, Jaime Munguia. Watch it live on ppv.com.